Hi guys, Gidru64 here, and today we're talking about physical media. It's Physical Media Tuesday, and I thought it would be cool to share with you guys how I built my collection. Whenever I have friends over, people come over and they check out all my movies, the first question they usually ask is, how did you build your collection? Sometimes people ask why I built the collection, but mostly I just get, how did you build the collection? And I was like, all right, well, that's kind of a big question because how I collect has changed a lot over the years. I've been collecting for over 15 years now. This isn't just stuff you just buy a bunch of lots. I mean, you could collect in any way you want. And that's also another reason why I wanted to do this video, but beyond just sharing with you guys how I personally collected, is to let you guys know that there is no wrong way to collect. It's like a Reese's, right? There's no wrong way to collect physical media. However you choose to collect is based on what you personally like, how much money you want to spend, if getting stuff on sale is important to you, if you like slipcovers or steelbooks, if you just want to get movies you enjoy. However you choose to collect, as long as you are having fun and enjoying what you're doing, I think that that's a great thing, and it's all benefits the health of physical media. But I just wanted to share with you guys in this video how I personally have collected over the years and how that has changed and why. But with all that said, let's go ahead and jump into the video. All right, so I'm going to use a few pie charts as I'm talking to kind of give a visual representation of how my collecting habits have changed over time. I'm including 4 categories. One is new retail, one is used movies, one is sales like Black Friday and Prime Day primarily, and then Steelbooks. You may be asking, why am I doing a pie chart? I don't know. I just like a visual representation of what I'm talking about because I'm a visual person. And, I was like, all right, well, I'll just do a pie chart for this as I'm talking. I think that might help. So, all right. So let's go ahead and jump into how my collection first started. As I've mentioned many times in the past, I worked at Blockbuster. That was my out of high school job. I worked there for several years, and that's really where my collection first started. We got a lot of free movies. When I first started there, we got 5 free rentals a week, and then that changed to 10 free rentals a week. So you can imagine I never really had a shortage of things to watch, and that included video games. So it was pretty crazy. It was difficult to get through 10 movies in a week, much less I was spending money on starting to build my collection. So my collection really started out of previously rented movies, what were called PRP, previously rented product. These were mostly DVDs. When I started working there, it was DVD. We didn't have any VHS. The VHS had already been long gone. We had just started implementing Blu-Rays. We had some HD DVDs and some Blu-Rays. The Blu-Rays went out, so we started getting Blu-Rays in, but primarily my collection started with DVDs, mainly because I didn't have a Blu-ray player. So I'm going to share with you guys a few pictures I found from online because I don't have any personal pictures from my store. But you can see here that we got a 4 for 20, then 5 for 20 deals. There's 3 for 20 deals. We had these all the time. This was, again, part of PRP, previously rented product, and we would have these running nonstop. So anytime I found something that I wanted, I'd be like, all right, well, let me wait. Within a couple weeks, we'll have a deeper sale on it. But the 4 for 20s ran all the time. We always had 4 for 20 previously rented movies. These are kind of similar to what I have behind me. I have these smaller stands right behind me. That's basically what was on the table. I kind of recreated it here with some backer cards that I still have from Blockbuster, just for some nostalgia. I would occasionally buy new retail if I wanted to buy something with a specific packaging. If it was like a really great movie I'd seen in theaters and I wanted to buy a specific packaging, because the packaging that was available for the PRP, for the rental stuff, some of those did not include special features and sometimes had different art and stuff that I wasn't as into. Obviously didn't have slip covers and things like that. So for movies that I was really into, I went ahead and popped on getting new retail, but for the most part it was all used. Which brings me to my first pie chart here. You can see all 4 categories here at the bottom, and you can see all of my stuff was pretty much used. A very little of my pickups were new retail, probably 5% around there, and everything else was all used, and that's how I first started building my collection. Moving into phase 2 of how I built my collection. So when Blockbuster started going out of business, I really ramped up kind of building my collection. For one, I didn't have my access to the rentals anymore. So I was like, all right, I need to get some of the movies I know I want to watch. And for 2, great deals when we were going out of business. For instance, this one was marked at $14.99, Social Network, one of my favorite movies. These would normally be on sale 3 for $20. You get three for $20, $14.99 previously used ones. These things are marked down to like $3 or something like that. You didn't even have to buy a bundle. So I built a lot of my collection at this time with our going out of business sale. So I want to share a few pictures from my store. These are pictures from my store as it was closing. Sorry for the poor quality, but I had a really terrible phone, and this was also a while ago, so you can imagine camera phones were not that great. So this is about as good a quality as it gets. And I may talk about closing up my Blockbuster in a later video, but you can see we got all these markdown signs we put up, and look at this up at the register. Just look at all these all sales final. Luckily most people didn't come back, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I got people trying to bring things back or return stuff. It's like, all right, well, look around. Have you seen these signs? And we got our buy, rent, trade logo. I haven't seen these pictures in a while. I had to dig these out of an old flash drive in order to share them with you guys. So that was what it was like closing down the store. But one of the other things with getting all these discounted PRP, previously rented product, was we also got a lot of stuff from the Blockbuster online service. They would mail a bunch of envelopes like this, which, was like the Netflix mail-in service.
Say hello to Blockbuster. They deliver movies right to your mailbox, too. Lots of movies.
And they would mail that to the physical stores that were going out of business, and then we'd have a couple boxes up front for people to kind of go through and pick out. And I started doing that, and I went to a couple other stores as they were closing and found some more stuff. So I bought a lot of just loose disc stuff like this that did not have boxes. Because, again, I could get this, these were like $1. It was like $1 you could get it. Blu-rays, I think, were $3 or $4, which Blu-rays were still pretty new at the time. So getting a Blu-ray for like $3, that was a good deal. And that's really when I started getting some more Blu-rays. But what I would do is I'd pick these up and then I would put them in a CD case. Remember these old CD cases? I picked them up at Walmart for like $5, and I'd fill them up with a bunch of discs. So at this time, I really wasn't buying any new retail. I was entirely buying used for probably a 5-month stretch. So you can see the pie chart's all green. This is really the only time you're ever going to see a solid color here in the pie chart. So moving into phase 3, as my collecting habits changed, obviously I did not really have access to used movies anymore. So it was really just buying new release, new retail stuff. I would pick up the occasional movie on sale, but for the most part, my collection was really just picking up select movies that I wanted, and my collection didn't grow a whole lot at this time for several years. I also did a lot of moving at the time. I did a lot of traveling, and so having a big shelf of movies every time I moved. So what I would do is I put all of the discs in these briefcases that I had that had like CD slip covers in them. And so, anytime I was traveling, if I wanted to bring it, I could. But it also just made it easier to move. Now, I never threw away my boxes. All of my cases for the actual discs I did keep. But I boxed them all up and stored them separately because I got tired of having to pack them and repack them and everything else. So, like I said, my collection didn't really grow a whole lot at this time. It was mostly just new big release movies. I had already moved directly into just buying Blu-rays exclusively at this point. So I really didn't buy much DVDs at all at this point. You can see that reflected in the pie chart here. Everything's pretty much new. I would still get stuff on sale. I would get stuff on Black Friday. I would actually go to the physical locations a lot, and Walmart and Best Buy, and just be like, all right, I'll pick up a stack of movies. I got a few movies that I probably shouldn't have picked up that I picked up just because they were cheap, but I've never even opened them. But that's neither here nor there. So moving into phase 4, at this point, I was really not collecting much at all. What I would do is I would just wait till sales. I would wait till Black Friday and Prime Day and online sales and just pick those up. I very rarely got new retail. It would only be specific titles, kind of like what I was doing when I was working at Blockbuster. So most of I would just get like a whole stack a big stack of movies on Black Friday that I would just hold out till the end of the year and then buy all at one time. That was the best way to get bang for my buck. And that's really reflected in the pie chart here. You can see I got sales makes up most of it. I still got the new retail stuff, mainly based on not wanting to wait till a sales day for a movie that I really wanted to own or something to do with the packaging usually. So phase 5, this is when I started discovering Steelbooks. And I really liked them. I really like Steelbooks.
I like it a lot.
And when I would pick up new releases, I would pay the extra, $5 to get the Steelbook most of the time. There's sometimes if the Steelbook didn't look very good, I would skip out on it. But for the most part, I'd be like, all right, well, I'm going to start collecting Steelbooks. When I found a Steelbook that I didn't own, I would pick it up, and new releases were pretty much exclusively Steelbooks. So I was still primarily building my collection on Prime Day sales and Black Friday sales, but I would pick up the occasional Steelbooks throughout the year as I started to get more and more into Steelbooks. You can see that on the chart here. Still sales makes up the vast majority of it. Anytime I would pick up new retail, it would be specifically to get the Steelbooks because of the packaging, essentially. But I still would just get a regular slipcover here or there. Moving into phase 6, which is kind of really where I'm at now, give or take some. After I moved this last time, I transitioned into buying stuff from my local used bookstore. My local used bookstore has a pretty good rotating inventory, and I try and visit it once a week. This really has allowed me to really build up much of my collection. I can get a lot of movies for just a few dollars. A lot of the stuff I pick up, I can get like for $2, even if it's some movies that I wouldn't necessarily buy otherwise. I'm like, if I can pick it up for $1 or $2, sure. And I've never had any issues playing any of the discs, and they have a really good return policy. So really that has allowed me to more than double my collection in just a few short years by buying a lot of used product. Going full circle back to when I first started my collection, buying used at Blockbuster.
So say hello to Blockbuster again.
So most of my new retail is bought from, again, Prime Days, Black Fridays. They have 3-for-2 sales that pop up on Amazon and Target, and I pick up stacks of movies at that time. I'm very selective on paying full retail price by buying new retail because I can buy 10 used movies at the used bookstore for the price of like one new release. So it's got to be a movie that I really want. Either I really like the packaging, or I can't wait for, to own it, or something to that effect. But most of the time, patience is a key for me, and I try and wait to get stuff on sale or to get to my used bookstore where they have pretty good markdowns, even for new release stuff. So as you can see in the pie chart, you can see most of it's back to used. I'm back to buying used movies. Sales still make up quite a bit a portion on it. That little tiny sliver there of new retail is probably even smaller than that, but I do occasionally pick up. I just picked up Dune Part 2, the slip cover. When it first came out, I paid full retail price for it because the Steelbook was sold out and I wanted to own it physically, so I paid full retail for that. But it's really not very common. If I do that, it's usually for like a TV show or some special release or something like that. But I do still collect a lot of Steelbooks. I'm on the lookout for used Steelbooks all the time. And when I pick up new retail, it's almost always Steelbooks unless the Steelbook is sold out, in which case I usually wait for used retail. Even though this is the last and current phase of my collecting habits, this is no doubt going to change again. It changed 6 times over the course of the last 15 plus years of collecting. And, it went on how I wanted to collect. And sometimes I collected more, sometimes I collected less, sometimes I was into it more, and sometimes I wasn't. If I'm not into it, I don't spend money collecting just for the habit. I like picking up stuff that I'm going to actually watch, and something that I can get that's not on streaming, it doesn't have regular access. That's stuff that's what matters to me when I'm building my collection. But there may be other reasons why other people collect, and that's completely fine. As I said at the beginning of this video, there's no wrong way to collect. It can be based on pricing, availability, packaging. Some people like Steelbooks, like myself. Some people think Steelbooks are overrated. They don't like them. Some people hate slipcovers. Some people love slipcovers. Like some people just throw away slipcovers and other people won't buy stuff if there's no slipcover. Some people double dip and buy the same movie multiple times, or triple dip or quadruple dip based on packaging alone. Some people are like, well, I already own this movie. I like that Steelbook, but I'm not going to buy a movie that I already have. Some people upgrade from Blu-rays to 4K. Some people don't really care about 4Ks and they're fine with their Blu-rays. Some people even like DVDs and they're like, I'm not going to change my DVD to a Blu-ray, and that's completely fine. Whatever is important to you, that's what's important to you. Some people only buy physical media based on what's lacking from their streaming service. There's lots of physical media stuff I have on my shelf right now that isn't currently available on any streaming service. And that's kind of how I've opened the gateway for some of my friends and to open up and start collecting some physical media. It's like, hey, look, you don't have to have a huge collection like me. You don't have to commit yourself to that. What I always recommend for anybody who does ask me how to start a collection, I would say make a list of 50 of your favorite movies. Cross-reference them with what streaming services you have. Whatever's not on there, go ahead and pick it up. If you know you're going to watch it multiple times into the future, wait for a sale. Again, Prime Day, Black Friday, something like that. Have that list ready to go and see what's on sale and start picking them up. That's how I would recommend starting a collection. But again, you can start it in any way you want and whatever's important to you. There's no wrong way to collect. It's all fair game. Just have fun collecting, and any support for physical media is good for the health of physical media. A healthy physical media market is good for film. It's from preservation, from editing changes and censorship, but also just readily having it available to you, regardless of the deals that the streaming services have and which movies they have for their limited time. Same thing with TV shows. So get out there and collect any way you want. I just wanted to share with you guys my journey of collecting and how it changed over time. And let me know how you guys collect or how your journey's changed over time in the comments below. Like I said, I like talking physical media. We talk about physical media every Tuesday here on the channel. I do other videos as well, but physical media is pretty much the primary focus of the channel. So if you like that, please consider subscribing. I want to thank you all for sticking around on this video. Thank you, subscribers. All of you are awesome. And if you like this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Do all the YouTube stuff or don't. I'm not a beggar. I'm Geetrue64, and I'll always tell you the truth.